When approaching a woman for the first time, it is understandable that you might be a little nervous. However, if you approach a woman and your approach is, "Oh, hi, do you like me?" you're probably not going to get very far. Insecurity is one of the biggest obstacles we face when it comes to approaching a woman. However, the majority of insecurity is founded in fears that, for the most part, have no circumstantial evidence backing them up. This week, we're going to take a look at why our mind creates insecurities and what to do about them when they creep up. The first thing to understand about insecurity is it is founded in fear. The mind creates these fears to protect us in the wild. This may have been helpful when facing, say, a saber-toothed cat, but not so much when it comes to approaching a woman. They might be scary, but contrary to popular belief, they're not all saber-toothed cats. This is usually the situation. A guy looks at an attractive woman, he wants to approach her, but he is afraid he will say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, think the wrong thing, whatever. And he conjures up all of the possible things that could ever go wrong. Consequently, he ends up never approaching her at all. He might be afraid he is going to make a bad joke and she will be offended. He might be afraid that he will accidentally knock the glass out of her hand and onto her dress. He might be afraid that he will think she likes him and that will somehow offend her. He might be afraid he will walk up to her and they will hit it off great, and then while walking her to her car in the parking lot, the ex-boyfriend sees them and runs the guy over with his monster truck. When you really reflect on all of these circumstances, how often have any of them ever occurred? Didn't think so. Maybe not as many as our mind would think. Recognize that at least 90% of what your mind is going to conjure up is never going to happen. By the way, women have a very forgiving nature. They have to later on as wives and as mothers. Kids do things that they need forgiveness for. And husbands, yeah, you better believe that you're going to do things that you need forgiveness for. So if you do mess up in some way, she will likely forgive you for it. Odds are, if you tend to be nice to most people, you will not end up offending her anyway. It's just not in your nature. The second problem with having insecurity is you'll wear it on the outside. You will wear that mindset on the outside. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, I mean, if you have these fears plaguing you in the back of your mind all the time, these fears that you can't make a successful approach, she will sense them. It's like they can smell it. And it doesn't smell very good. And she'll sense that you are insecure. And that's either going to be through your body language or through lack of eye contact. Whatever it is, she's going to sense it. Women can read men like a book. And unfortunately from that, she's going to determine that you might not be somebody that she feels attraction for. You haven't even approached her and you've already been rejected because your mindset puts you in a position to be rejected. Combat this mindset. Create a routine. Every time your mind starts to say, hey, I know you want to approach her, but you know this is going to happen, or you know that's going to happen, or whatever, or just acknowledge that your mind is thinking that. Just acknowledge the thought, and then imagine the thought just floating away, like somebody standing on the sidelines and casting an insult at you. It doesn't matter. The insult doesn't matter because you know they're wrong anyway. So you don't even hear it. Replace it with a positive thought that includes you having a great interaction with her. Visualize your success. We often go through life like we're walking on eggshells, and we're afraid to offend anybody. And in the end, what ends up happening is we end up offending our own right to be seen and heard. Obviously, this means we end up not being seen or heard, including by her. We end up creating a cloak of insecurity. It's like a cloak of invisibility, but there's no cool factor. And that score comes out to 0-0 because nobody got to meet anybody. A good practice is to observe your own actions. Do you catch yourself often doing things or not doing things to please others? I'm not saying be a total jerk here and never care about what others think, but moderate it. Make sure you're living life for yourself as well. It actually takes more to upset someone than you might think. Whatever you think will happen will likely happen, so you might as well think positively about it. And when you detect signs of insecurity, don't let them stick around. Just kick them out. Otherwise, they're going to kill your game. Take command of your space and own your mindset. And that's my tip for this week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, share with your friends, and as always, get out there and ace it.